Okay, I should be rolling.
Danganronpa.
I haven't edited the last episode yet, so I still don't know if I actually fixed the sound problem. Might actually be the noise filter, but it's probably not the noise filter. But we'll see. As in, like, I didn't have the noise filter on. That still shouldn't have caused everything to get bricked, though. Because that just adds, and if it's not bricked when if it's not bricked when you just have the noise without my voice, then it shouldn't be bricked with my voice. So which one did I save it? I don't remember. It's awkward. Let's try 15. No, that's the wrong one. Let's try 14. That's also the wrong one.
Danganronpa.
Let's try 13. That's the correct one. Okay. So, I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself here at the start of the investigation, when I really need to make sure I guess for my own whatever, however I'm evaluating myself. When I really care that I guess the correct culprit is right before we go into the trial. But I guess I'd talk about it a little bit. So, we still have the division that I made at the beginning of the previous episode. So the inner circle is Yuki, Rei, so Yuki Maeda, Rei Mikaru, and Kinjo. His last name I don't remember, but let me look it up here. Tsurugi. Actually, Tsurugi is his first name, so it's Tsurugi Kinjo. And then Akane, remember Akane Taira, and Mikako, Mikako Kurokawa, are like on the edge. They're somewhere in between. And then we already have Yamaguchi, who's a lawyer. Last name's way easier to remember with Yamaguchi. His first name is Kakeru, by the way, but it's hard to remember it. And Inori, right? Teruya, Teruya is the merchant. Kanata. Okay, so Kanata, Inori are now dead. So that leaves the pilot, Haruhiko, the merchant, Otori, the clown, Satsuki, right? Yuma Satsuki, and the priest, Kinji Yuhara, of the sort of outskirts characters still around. And again, if it's chapter 3, just sort of generally as a whole, you expect the person to be an outskirts character, and I would expect it to be a boy, since we already lost a girl, we lost Inori, and we need some boys to make up the balance still. So that tends to make Otori the merchant, and Yuhara the priest, and Haruhiko the pilot kind of in the hot seat. Now, it goes with the characters individually. So first, Haruhiko. Haruhiko, I believe, was in the second floor party. It's easier to, actually, before going down the characters, actually do it in this way. And as with the timeline. So, the time of death for Yamaguchi was, if I remember correctly, we can look at the Monokuma file again. 840, right? It says 840 right there. So, anybody where we knew where they were at 840, that makes them slightly less likely to be the person who killed Yamaguchi. Because he was, like, cut in the throat. I can actually do an attach here. So, sharply from the back of the neck to the area between the uvula. The weapon is believed to have been sharp. Because his neck was slit, it suggests that whoever killed him did it in a very personal manner. They didn't use some sort of Rube Goldberg machine. And so they'd have to actually be there. We know that Ray was tied up, I believe, at 8:25, and we've been right next to her the entire time, and she never left our sight since then. So, for example, although it's not impossible for Ray to be the culprit, and that she can, like, set something up, it's not likely for several reasons. One is, this is unlikely to be a setup, Yamaguchi's death. 2, Ray's part of the inner circle, one of the inner circle characters. 3, this is out of character for Ray, right? Ray is supposed to be really smart. So Ray would do like a dumb chapter 3 style killing. She would do it the smart way, where she just like did it the murder in a very simple fashion. Just find one of the other characters alone, walk up behind them, slit throat, leave the body there, just walk away. Really, and that's like the best way to do it, right? Make it, just leave. The more you try to like do some complicated thing to try to like make an alibi for yourself, or just confound and confuse everybody, that just leaves more evidence behind that you did it. So the best way to commit a Danganronpa murder that would give you least likely to get caught is to just make it as simple as possible, right? And Ray would understand this, and so she wouldn't do something complicated like whatever the culprit of this case did, right? It's just not. It doesn't make any sense. Mostly, but also just because we know where she was the entire time. The reason why I was like going to start talking about Haruhiko and divert to that is because what matters really how we categorize people as the like second floor party and the third floor party. So Ray wasn't in either one of the parties, but we found her on the third floor, and so that's why she's kind of part of the third floor party. So I talked about Ray already, right? Next thing is natural, not to talk about Haruhiko. The person it's natural to talk about is actually Mikako, because she's also on the third floor party. And we don't actually know exactly where she was the entire time. There's a time when she was out of sight, but then she ran to the art room to tell Yuki that there's something going on. There's like a bunch of water running in the science room, and that the door was like, we don't know what exactly the object was yet that Ray took out of the door, but it's like a drumstick like thing, right? So she was out of sight for a brief bit there, where we were digging Ray out of the locker. Now, it was approximately 8:25 when we got her out of the locker, so you'd expect, when Mikako came running, that was no later than 8:30. So Mikako, you would still think, wouldn't be downstairs at 8:40. Yeah. Yuhara is there too. Yuhara's window of being out of sight is a bit longer because we don't know where he was when Mikako ran from the science room to the art room. So he was out of sight for slightly longer. Also, he had this wound on his head, which could be like a little bit of a red flag. Like maybe he was faking something, or putting up like something, trying to make an alibi for himself. Because it seems odd that the murderer would do a bunch of extra random like casualties. Like he would, in order to, because that just leaves behind more evidence, more people that could potentially see you. Now, Celeste did this in Trigger Happy Havoc. She did things where she had extra junk going on. But that's because Celeste was stupid. And I'd hope a fan game writer would do that again, because that's one of the most, like, infamously disliked Danganronpa cases, because you can tell like who the culprit is immediately at the exposition of the start of the situation where the murders occur, because our story just doesn't make any sense from the start. Anyway, I still think of Kijo as not very likely, but he is slightly more likely than Mikako. Mikako is starting to is just like some comments on Mikako. We started to notice, of course, it seems pretty obvious, right, that she is indeed, as the note says, talkative, right? Monokuma doesn't lie. And it seems that she doesn't talk not because she's, introverted or just shy or something, or just like me. It's Julian disease, where in real life I tend to not talk. It's because she has some condition where talking makes her head hurt. If she talks too much, she'll actually pass out. And they use a shock sound effect. Now, a shock sound effect in passing out seems like it kind of gives you the suggestion that it's like an intentional modification done to her. That is, this would be something that, say, the mastermind did to her mind to handicap her because she would be inconveniently powerful in the mastermind situation. Sort of like, Kyoko in Trigger Happy Havoc, right? The mastermind took more memories from her because he thought that she would be a problem. And in fact, she was so much of a problem that it didn't even work. It didn't even matter. Like, if the mastermind didn't take extra memories, it would have been the same. There would be something like that. But something to kind of note here is that there's something peculiar about the very beginning of the game. In that, the character introductions happened before the time skip. It's weird, it caught me off guard. Right, everyone passes out and wakes up in a classroom after they've introduced each other themselves to each other in the lobbies. Or in the lobby. And in Mikako's character introduction, we saw this, doesn't say much behavior already. So if something was done to Mikako in her past, something really tragic, someone did some cruel human experiment on her or whatever, or just did something to her because they were just the angel of death, then it wouldn't have been the mastermind in that interim. It would have to be the mastermind planning way ahead. Or someone else did it to her in the past. Now, Mikako has some weird knowledge going on. One is she seems to know, has some sort of familiarity from her past with the person whose yearbook they found wherever they found the yearbook, which I forgot that was the science room or something like that. And I forgot what his super high school level talent was, which is odd. She knows who that person is, and I suspect she probably also knows the person in the cage, because there's a strong association with her and the secret tunnel leading out with the from the storage room. And there's the suggestion that the human voice she hears is a human voice that she recognizes, as well as this person apparently having a woman he cares about that is apparently still alive. So these people, all these people in Mikako's past could have something to do with whatever just horrible thing was done to her that makes it so that she can't talk. We want to unpack this and get all of these mysteries solved with Mikako, you would think, before Mikako dies. And it's unlikely that they could get through that in this just one investigation and trial. So she has pretty good plot armor, is pretty safe. We also see that her super high school level talent is actually pretty real. She's not like a literal exorcist. Like, she doesn't cast literal demons out of people. Instead, she's like, just has like incredible like people skills, essentially. She's almost like the super high school level counselor, super high school level therapist almost. Sort of. Which is, it's kind of, I guess, so there are people who claim to be or call themselves exorcists and apparently make money off that in the United States today. And they go on George Norrie and they talk about it and but actual factual demon possession in a technologically developed society that has a tendency to be naturalistic, that has that that idea of science no longer needs God, purported by Laplace to Napoleon, right? In their mindset, it wouldn't be of any agenda of any demonic forces to really show themselves or any benefit to them in that environment. So you don't see. Also, in the Age of Grace, as we call it, God seems to not allow for there be just demons possessing people and just screaming about Jesus as Lord all the time. So we don't really see we don't see demons in the first world. And so these exorcists aren't really casting out real demons. But I presume that it usually like purports some positive effect on follow-up because placebo effects, right? If you actually think that someone cast a demon out of you, then there might be a tendency to act in such a way that's just like improved yourself because you think you should be improved now. It may sound kind of weird to you, but or the exorcists just act like Mikako, and they're really just like psychologists or psychiatrists or just really good therapists, and that's really what they are in truth. Anyway, so it's not a Mikako. So what about Haruhiko? So Haruhiko was the second floor party. And the second floor party, we don't really know anything about the process by which they finally discovered Yamaguchi's body and why they missed the killer. So the second floor party, which I believe consisted of Haruhiko, Otori, and Ima Satsuki, right? The pilot, the clown, and the merchant. They don't really have good alibis as far as Yuki is concerned. I know you're like, what about the alibi for the death of Inori? Well, we know the time of death already of Yamaguchi. So, and we know that Yamaguchi, and the death of Yamaguchi is more likely, is like immediate, right? It's 8:40. Whereas the death of Inori could have been, is kind of a mechanism. It involved filling the room with water and tying her up, and like it could have been done remotely or done in a timed fashion, right? Whereas the murder of Yamaguchi seems less likely. That's why it kind of matters more as far as alibis are concerned. So none of those have an alibi. And again, Haruhiko and Otori, they tend to be really in the hot seat because they're boys of the type of demographic that tends to die in Chapter 3. I wouldn't know which one to pick, but I have a tendency to pick Otori out of the two, and the reason is Otori had this little moment, this little line of dialogue where he got this little fight with Haruhiko. just kind of randomly as one of the scenes in the middle of the daily life. And usually with Danganronpa, if you have something like that, you have that little scene that gives that character a little moment, that's an indication that they're trying to get something in with that character before that character dies. A couple examples I can think of is like the scene with Chihiro and Mondo in Chapter 2 of Trigger Happy Havoc, where Mondo tells Chihiro that he'll never make her, because they knew her as a her at the time, cry again. Another one would be the little scene with Gonta at the beginning of Chapter 4 in V3, where Gonta says, like, I feel like I'm useless and I want to be useful. Those, like, little things, those seem to be things that prime the character for their death. Right? But Haruhiko was in that scene. And I know, yes, but it's like less out of place for Haruhiko because Haruhiko already talks a lot and talks like that. Plus, he wasn't the one with like a little character break, right? Whereas Otori was the one with the little character break there. So that's why it's just like that little thing makes me like more likely to pick Otori as the culprit as opposed to Haruhiko. Okay. And Satsuki, I just likely because she's a girl, and she just really hasn't been prepped in the same way that Haruhiko really hasn't been prepped. Then we have one more person to talk about. We have two more people. No, we have two people or type people to talk about. One is Kinjo. Kinjo was really suspicious because he was in the room with Yamaguchi. But again, Kinjo is in one of those inner circle characters that gives him some plot armor for Chapter 3. Also, I think it got spoiled by... I didn't click load the save file, but I think it got spoiled by thumbnails of save files in the Zephyrim build. Maybe indicating that maybe at some point you play as Kinjo. And we haven't done that yet. It seems unlikely you play as Kinjo and he ends up being the culprit because you're investigating his own murder. But I don't know if it's like a vague, maybe an incorrect interpretation of that spoiler. It's probably a spoiler nonetheless. The other person I have to talk about is Akane. Now, Akane, if this were Blowback, they would kill her. That's what Blowback, the kind of thing Blowback did, is they got a character like back to talking to people again, and they just immediately killed her off. Because they tried to make the murder tragic. So they could make this tragic by just killing Akane off. Akane being the person who did it. I think we haven't seen... Akane wasn't in the party, was she? Yes, she was. Which one was she? First floor, second floor? We were on the third floor, so no, she would have... She was on the party, she would have been second floor. Yeah. What makes Akane a little bit sus is that they could kill her off just to make it tragic, to maximize the despair. Which is kind of what I would do if I were to write a Danganronpa fan game. So I try to kill off the characters that I would know that the player would least want killed off, because it's kind of the point, right? However, I try to make you love her as much as I possibly could and then kill her, right? But again, she's a girl, and it makes it less likely, and she has a little plot armor because she tends to be sort of somewhat inner circle. So, Otori, right now, this green-haired guy, is actually my best bet at the moment for the Blackett. Again, not very many clues, kind of vague, it may change when I go into the trial, but he's my best guess at the moment. Okay, let's go for it, finally. So Chen Chong is like a frustration. It's like, you know, like, for some reason Google Translate translates it to damn. Yamaguchi and Inori, I couldn't even say goodbye properly. For their sake, we have to survive. Let's investigate further. There might be something on the bookshelf, so I'll investigate. What about the bookshelf? There are a lot of books on the shelves, although they're not particularly organized. You can see they are from various fields mixed together haphazardly. There isn't really much in the library, is there? Let's see about this door. What is this? You can go in and out of the library, but this place is locked. Okay, that's still locked. What about these books? Nothing here. The note, the letter. The sign that says "Hopes" from the Hope Speak Academy secretary. Now let's wait for the Hope Speak Academy secretary. Hope Speak Academy has been working hard to cultivate world-class talent for a long time. We've already read this, so I'll read it again. With a long history, our school has been a well-established educational institution with special government approval that has produced a large number of graduates who are active in all walks of life. However, this time, Hope Speak Academy is about to end its glorious history. It is a painful and difficult decision, but we could not delay it any longer due to a serious problem. However, this is not the end for Hope Speak Academy. We plan to improve the problem in the near future and resume activities immediately. Lastly, we'd like to express our deepest gratitude to all those involved who have provided support and cooperation over a long period of time. We also inform you that the closure of the Hope Speak Academy will be carried out with the approval of the relevant government agency. The article ended there. Okay, that's not a truth bullet. It doesn't matter. Let's talk to Mr. Sus. By the way, this is Otori. What a heinous guy he is, killing two people at once. The criminal is. Of course it's not me. Don't doubt me. Blood? Yes. Are these bloodstains? Yes, they are pink. They are the correct color. Right next to me is Yamaguchi, who's lying down with that much blood gushing out. Even in this yard, it's not that strange that there are bloodstains on the floor. But it is a detached puddle. This bloodstain looked something different. The bloodstains left alone on the body of Yamaguchi are stretched, right? What are you doing crouching on the floor? Kabatsikawa. Do you know what this bloodstain is? That's where Kinjo collapsed. Okay, so it's Kinjo's blood. This is the spot where Kinjo collapsed. When we entered the library, Yamaguchi was still in that same position and Kinjo was lying there. You wouldn't know because you didn't see Kinjo fainting or Kinjo passed out. Of course, I heard that Kinjo also got hit in the head and bled. But he shed this much? It's no joke. Or, is that a joke question? It's okay because Otori disinfected it and bandaged it. But at first I thought, at first Tyra thought that he was really dead. That she said, so Tyra was on the second floor and found him, okay. Kinjo is lying here. Now I think about it, I can't imagine Kinjo fainting after being hit in the head from behind by someone else. When and how did the criminal attack Kinjo and knock him out? I mean, this could be like a crazy Celeste type thing where it's like Yamaguchi actually hit him, and then someone killed Yamaguchi. Like the people, some of the people that died were in on the plan. I would think that Monokuma suggested it wasn't like Yamaguchi killed Inori and then someone killed Yamaguchi because Monokuma specifically said that someone was going to commit a murder after someone else committed a murder, he would stop them. That the thing is though, I don't know how that applies to if the second murder would be to be the murder, the black end of the first murder. Because the problem with there being two murderers is that there's two people that you could vote for at the end. That disrupts the structure of the trial. So that's why really there should only be one black end. But if you kill the person who's the black end, then you only have one black end left. That is you, the person who killed the black end. And so you don't have that problem. So you wouldn't think that Monokuma would need to stop that. Anyway. That was a rule that was not in any of the mainline games, right? Mainline games, they didn't think about that. I think they just said that, like, you can have as many, whatever. You could have two, like V3, although V3 postdates this game, Monokuma specifically said, yeah, you could have two Blackens. But only the person who killed the first is the one that you vote for. Right? The other one, I'm not going to stop them, but they don't get any benefit. That was the V3 rules. Also, in the mainline games, I think even in Trigger Happy Havoc, Monokuma said the max one person can kill is 2. I don't want to like exclude the possibility of a 2 murders. That would be interesting, but you can't kill more than 2. Whereas in this game, Monokuma seemed to say, yeah, you could just keep killing until a body is discovered, and then you can't kill after that. So you can't kill during the investigation. So whatever the anthropologist guy is, I forgot his name. Now in V3 did, where he killed someone after a body had been discovered, he would have been punished for that on the spot, under these rules. So it's kind of like Among Us, right? Like kind of the same idea where you're trying to get as many people dead before like a body's reported, ideally. And the cooldown time is inconvenient for that. And if it caused that much blood to shed, why did it end in fainting? Even though it felt like there was a clear malice, the only people who killed Yamaguchi and Inori were... what? The fact that the blackened can kill is a rule that was added after the body was discovered. So the criminal probably didn't know about it. If Kinjo wakes up, let's make sure to ask him. That didn't get translated well, but whatever. So, attacked Kinzo. Okay, let's look at the body itself. Yamaguchi's body lying limply on the floor of the library. In contrast to his stocky body, he was saggy. His pupils were open, and he felt empty. This is human death. A real death that I've already seen many times. Yamaguchi, you were talking to me just yesterday. There is no time to be sad. For Yamaguchi's sake, we must find out the culprit who made him like this. I decided to examine Yamaguchi's body. When I touched his body, I felt it was hard and cold. But he only died like, I don't know, 20 minutes ago? According to the Monokuma file, it is said that he was decapitated with something sharp. Well, his neck was cut, not necessarily decapitated. There was a wound, translation issues, there was a wound so terrible that I couldn't even open my eyes. So I really scraped up his neck real bad. It's like a Islamic State in Syria thing. Yamaguchi's head was completely cut from the back to the front, but it was surprising that it wasn't completely cut off, with just a piece of flesh still attached. I suppressed the rising nausea and looked at the wound. So he was almost decapitated. I have heard that if you use a clumsy knife or saw as a weapon, the wound would be torn apart. However, in the case of Yamaguchi, it was cut cleanly, as if cutting paper with a cutter knife. So, like, the tripwire used again, the tripwire reused, the same idea. So maybe it could have done biomechanism then. I can't watch anymore, it's so terrible. Like, Yamaguchi shed a lot of blood. Yeah, huh? I was mumbling to myself and suddenly I felt a sense of discomfort. The bloodstains in the library were definitely no joke. They stretched from the hallway all the way to Yamaguchi's body, and there was a lot of blood splattered on Yamaguchi's body. Yamaguchi's neck is no longer bleeding. Looking at the Monokuma file, it is said that there was no other visible injuries other than the wound on the neck. So that means that all the massive blood flowed from the neck. Well, there's a lot of blood that can come out of the neck. Of course, it's not that strange since the wound is almost severed. The time of Yamaguchi's death was around 8:40. Judging by the wound, it is certain that he died instantly, so even if blood started flowing from then on, no time has passed. 1C. 1 hour has passed since, I think. Why doesn't blood flow from the neck anymore? Well, eventually you run out of blood to flow. If you recall the words of the deceased Inori, it seems that after the heart stops, blood circulation stops, and less blood flows in the case of instant death. And eventually it coagulates. It doesn't clot because you're dead, but it coagulates, I would think. Maybe there's some clotting mechanism that can occur like even after you're dead, but... However, it may be too early. When examining Tomori's body, which was a similar case, blood was still oozing out, albeit a little by little. But in contrast, Yamaguchi's body looked very dry. He died 1 hour ago, that is? It wasn't even been a while since she squirted. Hasn't been even been an hour, right? What Hanasi is it? When you do that, when you do the C for hours, like, is that Hana or is that Iru? Like, to use the Korean numbers, the Sino-Korean numbers. I don't know. Either C or Hanasi. Been an hour since he squirted out the blood, but the blood is dry? I don't see how this was... This is going to be like an important thing that's going to be super crucial to the trial, but I don't see how it would be important. I mean, the Monokuma file doesn't lie, right? He died at 8:40. It's not like he would have died earlier than the Monokuma file said, right? It said something was off, but since Inori or Kinzo, who had specialized knowledge, were not here, I had no way to think about it any further. Inori can't talk anymore, but Kinjo is still alive. Should I ask him if he wakes up? Okay, body has been recorded in the notebook. You can check it in the truth bullet menu. Huh. Now, can I examine the blood trail? There's a huge blood trail leading from Yamaguchi's body to the library door. Is this all Yamaguchi's blood? But something is strange. Right, it's like he was dragged from the door back. It's so huge, and it was scary just to look at it, but I had seen a similar situation like this before. It's dark at the time, so I couldn't see it very well. Tomori also died after shedding a lot of blood. Now, in terms of quantity, Yamaguchi has more, and this area extends all the way the hallway from here. However, in Tomori's case, blood was flowing from 2 wounds, the neck and the stomach. Also, since it was discovered several hours after her death, a lot of blood had already flowed. Several hours? That's wrong. It wasn't several hours. It was like a couple minutes. Now, time has passed since death, and no matter how deeply the injury was, how could this much blood come out from a place in the neck? Not only that, the shape of the blood is a bit strange. It looks like as if Yamaguchi's body was dragged into the library from outside. Correct. Let me check for a moment. The door. Ara. When I slightly lifted Yamaguchi's body and looked at the floor where he had fallen, I immediately felt a sense of discomfort. If the body had been dragged from outside, there should be no blood under Yamaguchi's body. It's like a fake blood situation. Like, something makes me think that it's going to be like they cut up Inori in a specific way to like drain her. Because she was covered in cuts, if I recall correctly. But where they still wouldn't get like a ridiculous amount of blood that way, because they can only get the amount of blood that's like that was in Inori. Because they have this extra blood from Yamaguchi here, but then we also have a bunch of extra blood in the locker where they were hiding Rei, right? There's also, and that blood was there before Yamaguchi's time of death. So where'd that blood come from? Is this all fake blood? Is that what this is? It wouldn't be pink if it was fake, right? There's also a pool of blood on the floor where Yamaguchi's body had fallen. Thanks to this, Yamaguchi's stomach and chest were damp with red-hot blood. The shape of the blood flowing clearly gives the impression that the body was dragged across the floor from outside. If that were the case, there would be no way for blood to remain under the body like this. No, before that, the fact that there's a pool of blood under the body means that there was a pool of blood here before Yamaguchi collapsed here. That's probably true, but Inori didn't seem to have shed any blood. Oh, okay, so he is saying that Inori didn't shed any blood. It was very red, though, and the skin was not in good shape, I recall. And this blood would have to be Yamaguchi's blood. I don't know, but I felt something strange about the bloodbath in the library and Yamaguchi's body. Let's check it out and discuss it with the kids during the class trial. The sea of blood. Huh. So they killed him in the library, dragged his body out of the library, and then put it back in afterwards. Though confirming that Hattori didn't bleed. Inori didn't bleed, apparently. Huh. Oh, Maeda-kun. Tara, what are you doing here? Is there something in the hallway? No, not only that, but the smell of blood was strong, and when I continued to look at the corpse, I felt nauseous. That's okay, you don't have to push yourself too hard. Now, everyone is working hard on the investigation, but I can't rest. Class trial is about to start, so why are you having fun? So why would I be having fun? Or something like that. Fun. It's okay. Question? If that's the case, I have a question for Tyra, so will you answer it? Question? What are you going to ask? You can say whatever comes to mind. When I and Kurukawa and Yuhara went to investigate the third floor, could you tell me what happened on this floor? Okay, first of all, you need to know this. The body discovery broadcast that rang out about the same time, Kinjo was passed out. So it is full of... Okay. It's full of things I didn't see with my own eyes, right? This is just Tim talking to himself. Yuki talking to himself in his head. Okay, this can be helpful. It's simple enough. But there isn't much of a difference. We dispersed like Maeda-kun and investigated and found the body. Yes? Maeda-kun, I don't know if this has anything to do with the case, but there's something that bothers me a little. Is this okay? Yes, what is it? You said that Kanata-chan was discovered in the science room. But yesterday I stopped by the science room briefly just before midnight. Or just before nighttime, but the door was locked. You said the science room door was locked. So it was already... So just before nighttime, Inori was already... The death of Inori was already all set up. Yes, maybe it's related to the incident? Apparently the door wasn't open even when we found Inori's body. It was blocked with a latch or something. However, the door was already blocked even before nighttime yesterday. Well, I think it will be helpful. Thank you, Tyra. Was that helpful? If so, I'm glad. But why did you go to the science room just before nighttime yesterday? I'm always in the wrong place at the wrong time. I caused some trouble last night. At the time, I tried to put back the scissors that I cut my wrists with. The scissors were science scissors? Yes, I was out of my mind before that happened yesterday, so I don't know why I went to the science room and brought the scissors. I see. Anyway, I understand. Thank you, Tyra. So is that the murder weapon? The scissors? Science room was already locked down before nighttime yesterday. Let's check what this means. So Tyra's account. Huh. the scissors sharp enough you could actually, like, snip Yamaguchi's, like, spine with them? Okay, Yuhara. Yuhara, are you feeling fine? Are you feeling okay? Don't overdo it. No, it's not a deep wound, so don't worry about it. Rather, Maeda, have you seen my phone? Or seen the phone? Are you talking about Maki's cell phone, I guess, that you found on the 3rd floor? That's why Yuhara was keeping it? Yeah, I didn't know when someone would use it, so I always kept it in my inner jacket pocket. But now I realized the phone is gone. Right, they hit him on the head, and when he passed out, they took the phone from him. It disappeared. When was the last time Yuhara checked to see if this phone was there? It was definitely there until I lost consciousness in the middle of the night yesterday. When I woke up, it was gone. Well, the culprit must have taken it. I have an ominous feeling. Anyway, what's important right now isn't the cell phone, so investigating would be the first thing to do. Where did Yuhara's cell phone go? That's not a truce bullet? Okay. Don't have Yuhara's account. Let's check some random rooms just in case, like, there's characters in them. Okay. Just making sure. Nothing in the switch room, right? Nope. No one in the gym? No one's just hanging out in this room. I have to go to the nurse's office in the end. Okay, I haven't had the clown just hanging out in here. There's still to investigate in here. We'll get back there after we check the classrooms. I tried to walk towards the science room without thinking, but I was startled because before I knew it, the water flowing from the science room was filling the hallway. Could it be that the water's been leaking from the science room all along? Well, turn it off. Turn the faucet off. Doesn't matter if I just go in, but I'm concerned about what Makaru said earlier. I think we shouldn't step on foreign objects. As if on cue. Incompetent! It's obstructing traffic, so turn it off quickly. Makaru. You're here at the right time. This water... Why are you talking to me like that? I even cursed you on purpose. Makaru, you said a little while ago that you shouldn't tread on the water. Why did you do that? And if that's still the case, wouldn't it be dangerous to go in there? It's okay now. You can go in as you please. I was told by Monokuma earlier that it's so... Wait, what? Time to manually translate. I was told by I told Monokuma earlier and had him put it away. Okay. What did she tell Monokuma to put away? Put what away? You'll find out after you enter the science lab. By the way, it looks like no one turned off the faucet. There's really no answer. You guys don't even have Kinjo. Tsurugi. Put it away, the faucet. Look with your own eyes and think with your own head. It would be great if you could tell me whether I'm counting or not. Yes? Whether I'm coming or not. No need to be annoyed. But since Mikaru walks in the water so proudly, it must be safe. I think I can go into the science room now. As Mikaru said, let's check with our own eyes what's happening. Okay. Let's investigate said locker. This is a cabinet that stored miscellaneous art supplies, but the inside was now in a terrible state covered in blood. Mikaru was tied up and trapped inside. At that time, Mikaru's arms and legs were tied with tape, and her mouth was blocked. It was locked from the outside, so she slammed the door from the inside to get out, resulting in loud noise that echoed all the way up to the down to the second floor. The culprit must have done this as well. The culprit must have kept Mikaru here for a reason. If he did something like that without a reason, it would only raise more suspicion. Why did he just kill her, though? Not only Mikaru, but also the attack on Yuharu and Kinju were all done for a reason. The bigger problem is, the cabinet is covered in blood. It's just like, this is another one of those instances of, if you're going to murder someone and try to get away with it, you would think that who you would murder would be the people who would be most likely to figure out who did it. So you would murder Kinjo and Rei, right? You could argue, okay, those people might be hard to murder. But he had her tied up! Why did he just kill her? First of all, Inori and Yamaguchi's bodies don't seem to have anything to do with the art room. But no matter what anyone says, what's in the cabinet is blood. Judging by the fact that it's pretty hardened, it's blood that hasn't been spilled in a while. Inori didn't seem to be bleeding. Yamaguchi was bleeding a lot, but he hasn't been dead for long enough for the blood to be this hard. And Mikaru was only bound and didn't bleed. All this like fake blood business. In that case, it might be Kinjo's blood. Just a guess, but Kinjo said he got hit. Kinjo was said to have been hit in the head. This much blood comes out of his head. Wouldn't he be dead? I wonder if this person's identity is so troubling. They have no choice but to discuss it during the class trial. The person whose blood lost all that blood. I mean, we could go all the way back to like Hatano, right? If you somehow stored blood that came from her leg. But Yuki's saying you're in so much blood that you would be dead if you lost it. We know that Kane was slitting her wrists. Did they somehow collect Kane's blood? There's a lot of blood to just collect, though. I thought they got over that. Odd. That is really weird. That's like really weird. Whose blood issue? Your blood? Your blood, clown? Ah, Maeda. The hallway is a sea of water. There's a cabinet covered in blood in the art room. Why is this all such a mess? The criminal probably planned the crime by moving from place to place. They are truly an intelligent criminal. No, they're not. They did a bunch of extra junk they didn't need to do. It's stupid. I'm a little worried about whether Satsuki can win against such a powerful enemy. Okay. I'll have to go around this way. There's a sink, right? Yeah, there's the sink. Let's look in the back. Wow, all the stools are turned over. That matters. Flasks of various shapes and tools needed for experience are piled up like miscellaneous items. Also dangerous items such as beaker containing frog and pig hearts, current induction meters, stun gun. Okay. Okay, the sink that's like still going, we haven't turned off yet. It's a wash basin on each table in the science room where you can dispose of the chemicals and wash your hands during experiments. But now the sink was overflowing with water, gushing out the faucet at full force. That's right, the whole reason the science room flooded was because of this faucet. This is not the time to leisurely think about what a huge waste of water it is. I quickly turned the faucet in reverse and turned the water off. There will be no more reason to think for things to break. Of course, this must have been done by the culprit, but what was the reason? What was the reason to turn the science lab into a sea of water? To drown Inori? Flood in science room is recorded as a truth bullet. Okay, Monokuma file. Next to Inori's body is a Monokuma file that Monokuma brought with him. It briefly contained information about Inori. Or Inori's death. The victim was Inori Kanata. The estimated time of death was 8:35. Oh, so she only died only 5 minutes before. Okay, so she was still alive when we found Ray in the locker, and she died as we went from there. As we were trying to like open the door and stuff, which somehow took 10 minutes. The body was found bound in the medical examination room. The cause of death was electrocution. Electric current passed through the wet body for a long time, burning not only the skin but also the internal organs of the body. So she was kind of like slowly fried. Like slow mode electric chair on low. Horribly, she didn't shed a single drop, but she had the most hideous corpse ever. The culprit is among us. Having to arbitrarily suspect a friend should be painful, but this moment I was filled with unbearable anger towards the culprit, who I do not know who this person was. Yamaguchi presumably would have died instantly, as his head was cut with a single blow, but in the case of Inori, it's no different from having died before my eyes, maybe? I don't know how that makes sense in this context, but whatever. A few minutes ago, I clearly heard her screams across the wall called the science room. Okay, so I forgot about that, but she was screaming. Let's calm down. Just getting angry doesn't change anything. This is a Monokuma file that gives us information after a long time. So, we have to make some useful inferences from it. However, the amount of information is so small with this alone. As of now, all that can be inferred is that the time of death was an hour as 8:35, which means she died 5 minutes earlier than Yamaguchi. At that time, we were struggling because we could not open the science room door. Okay. But killing 2 people within 5 minutes is... At that time, we were walking around from floor to floor, so if you walked back and forth with the weapon, you would naturally get noticed. How on earth is the criminal able to kill 2 people in a matter of minutes? Well... The Inori one was, like set the faucet and start it going, and then start the faucet going and wait, right? It would probably have to wait for the water level to get to a certain point before the shocking would begin. Monokuma file 3-1 added to the truth bullets. Have to go around. Okay, let's examine this stuff. What is this? Oh. It's the cell phone. Oh, this is why Makaru thought that you would get shocked. Okay. It's an object I had seen before somewhere. Oh, Maki's cell phone. It's probably certain. The cell phone that Yuhara discovered on the day the third floor opened. I haven't found any other cell phone, so it must be Maki's. Probably like this floor opened. No, it's third floor. Okay. I looked up the slide, wondering why the phone was in such a place, but it looked as if... As I looked at the screen, I realized this phone was not in normal condition. What's wrong with the screen? The phone screen was a mess of purple and pink. The clock was a strange language instead of numbers, and the buttons didn't work properly. It's shot. It's broken. Well, it was a natural result since it was in water. I couldn't hide my disappointment as I was secretly hoping that one day we might be able to fix the cell phone and use it to contact the outside world. Right now, the class trial that is right in front of us comes first. Anyway, the fact that the cell phone is at the scene of the incident means that there's a tool related to the incident. With that in mind, I played with the phone some more and noticed a small alarm sign at the top of the screen. The alarm was set to an hour and a minute, but it is now off. Wait. For 8:30. The alarm was set for 8:30, but was now off. Whoever set the alarm, it's for 8:30, just before we opened the science room door. Right, so it started the thing. After thinking about it carefully, it seemed like the cell phone was involved in the accident because it wasn't the only one. Well, it's this coincidence the alarm was for 8:30. There's another tool connected to the cell phone. A strap. This is an unusual item even at first glance. The object connected to the cell phone strap is something I'd only seen in cartoons and movies. Electric shock gun? I think it was also called a stun gun. Why is such a dangerous item at school? It seems like it was in the science storage room. I see, now I understand what Makaru said. Since the stun gun was probably left in the water puddle with the power on, it's highly likely that we would have been electrocuted if we entered the water in that state. It's not working now, but I guess that's what Makaru meant when he told Monokuma to put it away. Or she told Monokuma to put it away. What's more important is that it's away from the scene of the incident. According to the Monokuma file, Inori's cause of death was electrocution, but it's probably certain that this was the weapon. And it's probably certain that this is the weapon. But why is it connected to the cell phone strap? So at the time, it was a rig up to do it, to have it set off at a certain time. Also, that's not the only strange thing. If you think about it, if the weapon was a stun gun, then the criminal attacked Inori with this weapon. Then contradictions arise, such as the locked room in the science room and Yamaguchi's crime. There's no way that Inori would have been attacked directly. Perhaps turning the science lab into a sea of water was for the purpose of making this crime effective. Electricity passes through while submerged in water. It is literally a journey to the afterlife. As for the rest, let's check how the criminal used used water to conduct electricity. Body. As I was looking at Inori's body sinking in a puddle of water, I felt like crying without realizing it. How many bodies of friends have already died? 6. But if you don't investigate, you won't be able to find out the culprit. To survive the class trial, you must do your research first. First, we decided to take a look at Inori's body based on what's written in the Monokuma file. Inori's body looked so horrendous, so I couldn't bear to open my eyes. Her clothes and skin were completely charred. Her entire body was fixed with several layers of box tape, and her hands were tied with rope and hanging on a table. Inori suffered terrible pain and died in this state, unable to even move. I continued my investigation while spitting out profanity. Oh, that's supposed to be profanity, okay. So, Chigir is profanity? First of all, I remember seeing the tools used on Inori, such as box tape and rope, in the art room. Okay, yeah, it's like, damn. For the art room, so the art room is somehow related to the incident. Other than that, what can be thought of the body is being tied to the same table where the faucet comes off and having a lot of miscellaneous tools around. Does this have something to do with it? The box tape was stuck tightly in 4 to 5 layers, so it seemed impossible for even a strong adult man to tear it off with his own strength. It must have been like picking stars in the sky for Inori, who had such a small body to move. Was there a reason to tie Inori up like this? Yeah, so she can leave. Is this really just a criminal's bad taste? Well, the criminal probably had some bad taste. Kind of think of it, Inori has always been in the nurse's office ever since it opened. There might be some clues in the nurse's office. Should we check there too? Well, yeah, because we gotta look at Kinjo, right? So we're gonna go to the nurse's office eventually. I guess you didn't come. You didn't follow me in? Oh. Well, I came in, you already know why I told you not to step in the water in the first place. Okay. But Makaru, what I want to ask you now is different from that. Something like, you think I will answer? Or it's something like, do you think I'll answer it? Please take a look. I have a real question. When you were locked in the art room cabinet, as soon as you got out of the cabinet, you asked me to show you my hands. Why did you do that? Why did you ask that? It's probably like no reason, really. Something like, I didn't really answer? Or what? Okay. It's just a simple safety device. It's insurance that will protect your life no matter what happens. What are you talking about? We're not close enough to explain every... Are we close enough that I can explain every word? Well, don't worry. The police won't be able to do their job this time. So, you need to have insurance like this. When you guys are so unresponsive that we all look like we were going to die. If that's how this trial turns out, I'll show you my last move. Please try hard not to let that happen. Makaru began examining Inori's body again, leaving only inexplicable sounds until the end. Even if I talk to her, she won't open her mouth anymore. At that time, Mikharu definitely told me to give her my right hand. I took a look at my right hand, but there was nothing special. Is there something that only Mikharu knows about? Okay, Mikaru's right hand inquiry. Okay, let's go down to the nurse's office. Oh, I can tell him I found the cell phone. Okay, same, still repeat. So this makes it seem like Yuhara is not the culprit, right? Because the culprit took his phone. But just kind of, you intend to assume that that's how the story went. But it's not guaranteed, right? He could have just used the phone and then decide to be passed out or pretend to be passed out, then against the wall with blood on his head, intentionally, to make it seem like, give it like a way that the phone could be used where it wasn't necessarily him that used it, right? Provide a mechanism by which the phone could be stolen from him so he could blame somebody else. Also, the culprit did have access to a lot of blood. There's a whole bunch of extra blood everywhere. So, blood is somehow, whoever it was, blood was easy to come by for them. So faking a head injury wouldn't have been that hard. Okay, this horrible person did something to you so you can't talk. Kurukawa, you came down to the first floor. Have you found something? Kurukawa. Kurukawa is usually silent, but now she looks upset. Is it because of my mood? But it doesn't look like she'll open her mouth anymore, so decide to leave her alone. Let's continue the investigation. Weird poster, it's unpleasant, but nothing special about it. Okay, so all I see is Kinjo on the bed. We don't see anything here about, like, Inori, evidence of Inori's capture. Well, let's look at the obvious thing. They said that Kinjo, who was unconscious, was being treated and placed on a bed in the nurse's room. It was true. Never thought Kinjo would end up like this. There's no way he won't wake up. We'd be in trouble without him. Or we'd be in trouble without you. Okay, and that's it. Okay. So Kinjo has not woken up yet. That's all. They're not finishing investigating enough stuff to trigger that event. Not relevant, is it? Gym should not be relevant. We have Monokuma's porn boost here. The black box that Monokuma prepared to show his motives is now locked and cannot be entered. Huh. Let's go to the kitchen. Oh, wrong way. Where's the antique store? Usually there's something to investigate in there. Actually, let's go here in case this matters. Behind this is a secret staircase leading down somewhere. However, I think we should all go together when we go. And since there are machine guns standing in the way, it will be difficult to go down if we don't think of a way to avoid that. Okay. Okay, I definitely missed something I need to do before I can talk to Kinjo. Okay, what is it? No, I shouldn't despair, but I just can't help but cry. Okay, you can't examine the blood coming out the door, can you? Huh. Huh. What am I missing? Man. I don't know how many minutes I wasted because of you, so don't talk to me because it'll interfere with my investigation of the body. Maybe the rope? Ah! Why did I not investigate? Super frustrating. Try the nurse's office again, but man. There's a bed. It's similar to a dormitory, but it smells like disinfectant. Oh, okay. Items needed for first aid, such as bandages and disinfectants, are on display. There doesn't seem to be anything special. Refrigerators where blood transfusion packs are stored individually for each blood type. I was startled when I initially opened the fridge door. Oh, this is important. Because that's where you get extra bloods. We don't have any blood transfusion packs. No, there's 20 of them. More than 20 blood transfusion packs were all gone. Who used the blood transfusion packs recently? No. Where can I use something like a blood transfusion pack? Oh, so that's what I missed. That is tricky. You have to... Then when did the blood transfusion packs disappear? It's all this extra blood. I think they were stored properly, at least until today. Is this the work of the criminal? So that's where the extra blood came from. It came from the fridge. So they just dumped a bunch of blood in the locker, and they dumped a bunch of blood underneath where they put Yamaguchi's body. and a bunch of extra blood on Kinjo after they hit him. While in the, but even if they were the culprit, why on earth did they take the blood transfusion packs? Do they even need fresh blood? Missing blood transfusion packs and recorded in the notebook. You can check it. You can check it in the. Okay, so that's. Now can I? Okay, it's one more thing, but it's not triggering the end of the investigation. Take the art room again. Let's reinvestigate the blood and see if like this gets changes now that we've investigated the blood transfusion packs. Nope, it doesn't. Let's see, can I look at my truce bullets? Say Monokuma file 1, Monokuma file 2, Yamaguchi's condition, the blood underneath the body, Kinjo's condition or something, Tyra's account, the blood in the locker, right? Atano's body, phone. So I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4 truce bullets. 5 actually. Wow, I'm missing a lot. Here I can't even find one more. So these might be an entire new location I haven't gone to yet. And then so by Yamaguchi, the other file. Yamaguchi. By Yamaguchi. Now we're going to up to the art room. Also in the art room. Also art room. Okay, this is in the science room. Something missing in science room. Right, nurse's office. Something missing probably in nurse's office. So, art room, science room, and nurse's office is probably... Oh, I looked into the trash can without thinking there might be something there, and was surprised to find something. I thought it was toilet paper, but I looked closely, it was like a cloth. I took it out, an unidentified piece of cloth from the trash can, and unfolded it. Are these clothes? No, not just clothes. This can't be it. However, it was so soaked in blood that it was difficult to recall its original color. But the pure white color I could see at a glance reminded me of the fact that this was originally a white gown worn by doctors. Can you find one of these in the nurse's office? This is the white coat that Inori usually wears. When I thought about it, I realized that Inori's body, which I saw in the science room, was not wearing a white coat. I wondered where it had gone and found it in an unexpected place like this. No, in fact, it may not be out of the blue. The places where the body was directly discovered were the science room and the library, but the art room may be a place that is surprisingly close to the incident. The cabinet where Mikara was locked up, and this white coat. The blood on the white coat doesn't feel damp, as if it has been on it for a while. The problem is, where did the criminal use the white coat? Since it doesn't seem like there were any severe bleeding that was targeted, was it used while killing Yamaguchi? The blood's old though. No, it's too dry and twisted to be Yamaguchi's blood. But like, why'd you get blood on you when you were like doing the blood transfusion blood splattering nonsense that they were doing? While examining every nook and cranny of the white coat, I think I found it would be an important clue. I was able to make a new discovery. Inside the pocket of the white coat, I found a crumpled plastic wrap. When I carefully opened it, I realized it was also a wrap full of blood. There were so many clues related to blood, including the cabinet and the white coat on the floor of the library. What happened? I mean, the white coat on the floor of the art room. Wait. Oh, the white coat and the white coat and the floor of the library. I also looked closely and found that the plastic wrap had a small round hole in the middle, but I couldn't tell what it meant. Small hole in the plastic wrap? I need to talk about it during the class trial. It may be a mystery about using the rat to prevent blood from being splattered, I guess. I wonder if it has anything to do with it. Huh. Well, that is remote. Okay. Okay, so Monokuma files. In the library, next to the library, art room, missing, art room. Okay, so no one more thing in the art room, I guess. Why are the cords on the draperies pink? Bothers me so much. Huh. I mean, I already... Huh. Come on. Throw me a bone. Do you have enough stuff to let me talk to Kijo now? I don't know, I'm just gonna try it. Huh, no trash in here. I mean, if one of the things you had to investigate was checking a trash already. This could get terrible. Oh, you have to hang it up. No, I don't want to quit. Okay, so one thing missing probably in the science room, one thing missing probably in the art room, and one thing missing probably in the nurse's office. Probably be Kinjo finally waking up, but I guess I have to examine like everything in here. It's gonna be ridiculous. Oh! What is this? An object that looks like a wooden stick was floating on the floor of the science room that was filled with water. That's it, the item Makaru put away when the science room door wouldn't open, and she just threw on the floor. When Inori's body was discovered, the door to the science room would not open, and the culprit used this object to block the door. When I picked it up and checked it closely, it was an ordinary wooden stick. However, it is very thick, so if you block the sliding door with something like this, it would be natural for it not to open. Oh, so it's like a stick in the track, a dowel in the track kind of thing. When I looked at the back of the door, I saw a place that could fit a wooden stick. If you place this behind the door and close it, a secret room is naturally created, or a closed room. But why did the criminal create a closed room? Is there a reason why the door must be closed? Let's just check it out. Wooden stick. She talked about me about wooden sticks. Okay. Okay, something's still missing in the nurse's office. Something's still missing from the art room, it appears. Let's go back to the art room. Try to find something obscure, like a wooden stick. This trash doesn't have anything in it, right? So weapon decoration made of plaster, eh? Was this the original location of this stone rubber weapon like this? I think it was the opposite of the plaster on the right, but I don't come to the art room often, so I'm not sure. Oh, I don't know, maybe it was a mistake. The moment I made that decision and was about to take a step, I ended up seeing something that looked like dust. Is that a red colored gardens spade? It was really subtle, but a circular red dot was visible on the blade of the long one. I picked up the spear and smelled that part. It's faint, but it's a fishy smell. It's definitely blood. If you think about it, the weapon that killed Yamaguchi was something sharp. Maybe this is the weapon. After it's used to kill Yamaguchi, it was put back in its original place, but the criminal made a mistake and the location of the spear changed. Looking at the blood on it, there was no doubt that it was somehow related to the incident. Why is there so much blood? There's blood the size of a pea and in a circular shape. Well, something to do with the plastic. The little hole in the plastic, I presume. It's so dusty that I almost missed it. Did they aim for this and it bounced a little? If that's the case, it would have caused the blood to splatter in the first place. I don't think we can know for sure yet. Okay, I don't know what he's speculating there, but whatever. Oh, okay. seem to have done all my research. The culprit hasn't been caught yet. Is there anything left to investigate? Monokuma hasn't called yet, so I can investigate further. Kinjo shows up suddenly. Kinjo, you're awake. Maeda. Are you okay? What about the bandages? That's definitely not a shallow wound. It's not the time to worry about such things. Maeda, has a murder occurred, basically? Yes, the class trial will start in just a little while. I'm glad you woke up. I'm sorry, but I don't have time to talk leisurely. I need to see the crime scene at least a little bit before the trial. Maeda, you did some research. Do you know where the main site is? Yes, first of all, you go to these 4 places. The library, the science room, the art room, and the nursery room, and the nurse room. Thanks. Kinjo, wait a minute. Chotomate kudasai. I'm sorry, but I don't have time right now. If I go to the trial without knowing about the case, it'll be over. I'll talk about the finer details later. What I'm about to ask you right now is part of the investigation, so please answer me if it's brief. How on earth did I end up fainting? How on earth did you end up fainting? Oh. I saw Yamaguchi covered in blood. Yes. I saw blood stains in the library, so I went in to investigate and found Yamaguchi lying covered in blood. No matter how much it was, I couldn't hide my agitation. Someone took advantage of that split-second attack me from behind. I had no memory after that. Wait a minute, the story is from yesterday at nighttime? But no. You said you saw Yamaguchi lying covered in blood in the middle of the night yesterday? Yes. Anyway, if you go around the site right now, you will find out. Is he dead? Yes. Not only Yamaguchi, but Inori is also dead. What? Inori also? The culprit of this incident is not a simple person. He is a heinous guy who took lives. He took 2 lives in one night. That damn bastard. I don't know who you are, but I will definitely catch you and punish you. For that, I need to do a little research, so I'll just go. I'm glad Kinjo came to his senses. But will it be okay? It's already time. That too, what Kinjo said was also somewhat strange. Kinjo said he saw Yamaguchi lying down, but the time of Yamaguchi's death was around morning, so was the criminal already at work before then? A miracle like Inori, who survived until morning, like as Tomori, who survived until morning covered in blood, will never happen twice. Still, I think what Kinjo said may be a clue. It would be good to check this as well. The more I investigate something, the deeper this mystery seems to become. I'm sorry that you guys are working so hard to investigate, but Monokuma-sensei is so impatient that I won't let you continue or something. I declare the start of the class trial. Please gather at the red carpet on the floor, as usual. What's the result of this trial? It's something about there being 2. Kinjo, what should I do? You just started researching, but We already have to gather. It's so bad that I was lying down because I was so faint. Even though I've been thinking about joining forces on our own without Kinjo's help, I haven't even figured it out yet. Doing this here won't change anything, but if I'm late, I'll be punished. I'll get moving. Only 7 to talk to. When I entered the courthouse, most of the kids were already gathered. But Kinjo was late this time. Ah, Maeda-kun, you're here. Try to get this one. First sentence is, you were the last one, okay. But more like, the last one, and they're inquiring about Kinjo. And as expected, Kinjo's child couldn't open his eyes. What in the world? Okay. What are you talking about? Kinjo is not here? What was that? What'd you say? Did Kinjo wake up? I met Kinjo just before I came here. Kinjo, I'm glad you woke up. But he can't see it. Holding a class trial without proper researching is just... his personality is just language. What? It was time together, but he just wanted to research as much as possible, so he's late. Kinjo-like behavior. No. Is Kinjo actually the culprit? Are you making noise again? Oh, Tora, you just seem like a culprit when you say that. I don't get what he's trying to say. Something about Otori thinking someone's the culprit when they're late. Why? Could it be like that? What? Kinjo-kun could be the culprit? Wouldn't it be more fun? Psycho cop finally takes it to his own hands to murder. I can't tell if that's like makes it more likely he's the culprit or less likely he's the culprit, because we can make a twist now. Mikaro agrees with my opinion. It won't be surprising if the universe is destroyed tomorrow. Strangely high tension makes it even scarier. What's so fun, Mikaro? Didn't forget the class trials. Don't forget the class trials life-threatening. Something about, I hope things would change, but they're still the same. It's bound to be fun. Even before going to trial, I know the culprit, I know the trick. So now what's left is to watch you do the digging. You know who the culprit is? Who? Why? I wouldn't tell you. Don't worry, idiot. I'll watch you guys shuffle again. This is the first time I've ever felt like hitting a woman. Okay, so first is... aside from that, Kinjo is late. Okay, everyone is gathered, so let's get started. Just take the elevator down like always. I remade the design of the court, so look forward to it. Without Kinjo, so Iranami, so that's the clown. Kinjo-ken's not there? Kinjo-ken was unconscious? I tried to give him a special rest this time. But if he woke up and investigated the case, I presume he would participate in the class trial. I won't punish you for this because it's mine, but it's a bit annoying. I'll bring him to you very fast. Mine? What is, I don't know. Oh, super fast. Oh, what kind of speed of light is this? He just happened to be right outside the door anyway. Just as I was going out to look for him, he tried to come to the courtroom. He came on his own without me calling him. Shut up and quickly disappear before my eyes. Kinjo, are you okay? Well, I did as much research as I could. The amount of information is far from enough compared to previous incidents. No, I was asking if you were okay. Are you hurt? Okay. It's not something I've experienced once or twice while dealing with a vicious criminal with child level injuries. You've just happened a lot? I never thought I'd see Kinjo bleeding and fainting like that. I wish you could forget about that. I'm human too, so I let my guard down. Why didn't you become a little more gentle, Kinjo? I'm sure the last time I left the restaurant, we broke ties and all. Of course, it was, and it's still the same, but in the static situation of a class trial, the charge of being a preliminary criminal is temporarily removed. Inferring that the culprit is better with more manpower, and since the murder has already occurred, in this situation, the rest, other than the culprit, are just ordinary citizens. Kobashikawa was making a list of intimidating insults to shower Kinjo with when he opened his eyes, but when he bends over and comes in like that, I guess I have nothing to say. What? When did I say that? Do whatever you want. Anyway, this is like a temporary truce, so once the trial's over, you'll be prospective criminals again. Of course, Tyra is an exception. I'll always think of you as a quasi-criminal who committed attempted murder, so don't even think about such nonsense. That's crazy guy. Started having seizures again, Tyra. Don't pay attention to what the human scum says. When Maki died and Tomori died, we were thoroughly criticizing each other. It's a tough class trial, even if we all work together, but I have a feeling it's going to be a tougher fight than before. There's a lot to be said. Anyway, the gold and silver trial is about to start. Gold and silver? Which probably means class trial is about to start. Let's get started quickly. Right now, the priority is to resolve what is right in front of us. Isn't it better for everyone to come to their senses? Mekaru and Yuhara are right. If we don't pass the class trial, we will all die. Interpersonal relationships between children with Kinjo. There are many problems I want to solve. Well, let's first solve the biggest problem, a class trial. Because of the problem of class trials cannot be solved unless you are prepared to die. Okay, I do all these conversations. What are you doing? Hurry up and go down. This case is a bit complicated. It seems like it will be a more dangerous trial than the previous one. Be careful. I've researched as much as I can. All that's left is to make inferences based on the research results. There seems to be a bit of a shortage of people. That's all that's left. When did we disappear like this? Let's see here. Ayame-chan, I was almost out of my mind after being executed. After you were executed, so I couldn't even talk to the two dead people properly. I'm sorry, Kanata-chan. I'm sorry. Coming here again. Spilling this place makes me feel nauseous. Damn it, why do you have to kill two people? Let's go down and open the door. As usual, the elevator goes down to the basement, making a loud noise. Inside the elevator, the only people were already there. The silence was so intense that it seemed overwhelming. The remaining people were there. Only the remaining people were there. There was also fewer people. Is it because the relationship between us has worsened since the first and second class trials? Especially with some kids like Kinjo and Mikaru. I try not to make eye contact. Will I be able to come out safely this time? The elevator stopped with a shaking that seemed to have become familiar to me by now. Ah, what a surprise. Why is it right in front of me? Didn't Gomting learn in kindergarten that when you get on the elevator, you should think about the people getting off? I've been through this once or twice. The house will even react to it now. What are you doing? Why aren't you saying anything? Are you upset? Why is Monokuma like this? Seems to have come up with a new concept again. Hey, how long are you going to be like that? It's okay if you don't have to go through the class trial or something like. Is it okay if we don't go through the class trial or something like that? He seems to be a little different from usual. Kurukawa, would it be good to touch a guy like that? Ah. Well, why? Mikaru-chan? Kurukawa suddenly looked surprised and the abnormal Monokuma at the abnormal Monokuma. At first I thought that was Monokuma's prank, but I noticed the atmosphere is quite different from usual. And then Ukya! You just jump scared her. Kyak! I live. I thought I was going to die. Kurukawa. Monokuma that Kurukawa was fiddling with suddenly made a loud noise and started moving. What are you doing? Are you kidding me? Don't be like that. I was surprised because it suddenly started to lag. Wreck? Or lag? It's no big deal. In the meantime, everyone calm down. Good job. Let's get started right away. So, Monokuma lagged. Okay. It seems like you're trying to hastily gloss over something. Wasn't Monokurukawa's scream cuter than that just now? Move quickly. Time for the class trial that everyone has been waiting for to come again. Well, I thought it would happen, of course. No one is waiting for this. Oh, if it's not you, there's someone else waiting for it. Like me. Anyway, this is the third class trial. As someone who has been keeping a close eye on your trends, it seems like your relationship is in the verge of relationships are on the verge of breaking. I'm still worried. Stop talking nonsense and let's get started. Oh, you're so picky. I was gonna start anyway, so let's start right away without saying anything. It's extreme class trial that crosses life and death. So yeah, deadly class trial. Let's skip that. Skip to deadly. The deadlies. The moment Monokuma said those words for the third time, I suddenly lost consciousness. What? You passed out? Even if we assume that the victim and the criminal die in each incident, more than one person has already died. More than two. Okay. I guess 2 people die in each incident total. More than 5 people will have died. Well, 6 have died. In addition, there are 2 victims in this incident, so 6 right friends left us. Afterwards, there will be 7. Inori, one of the victims of this incident, a child with an angelic heart who is so concerned about our bodies that after the nurse's office opened, she spent most of the time in the nurse's office, not knowing when we might get hurt. Inori died with her entire body tied and unable to move, her entire body turning into a lump of charcoal. There is someone among us who has committed this terrible act. The criminal who committed this merciless act of killing Yamaguchi as well. Although Yamaguchi was timid and behaved unbecoming of his size, at important moments he would mediate the situation like a lawyer, and even make us laugh together. Yamaguchi suffered a severe wound that severed his head and became cold. The culprit who committed this is also among us. The trial to find the culprit begins now. A deadly trial. A deadly deception. A deadly betrayal. A deadly explanation. A deadly excuse. A deadly trust. A deadly something. A deadly class trial. Risk. A deadly fate. Save. Let's save in 12. Nah, save in 13. And that'll be it. As far as who did, I'll think about it. I won't make any comments right now. I'll think about it. And I guess next one, which will be another Zephyrin built part, I'll say what I'm thinking at the start of it, I guess.